Your brains, upstairs and downstairs. You've probably heard of left and right, but this one's going to be more upstairs and downstairs. Left is kind of your upstairs brain. Right is kind of your downstairs brain. This model comes from Dr. Dan Siegel. So this is the model kind of we have here. The upstairs brain is the cortical area, the cerebral cortex, your prefrontal cortex. It's designed to be about 10% of who you are. It's your thinking, your reasonable, your rational. We're going to do 2 videos on this one, 2 models. So this is kind of how it works. The subconscious is from here down and is representative of first the midbrain and then the lower brains or the downstairs brains. So by looking, you can see the model coming up. You've got your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your liver, your digestive tract, etc. Those are your downstairs brain, but they're really controlled by your midbrain. So let's kind of talk about that. In one of the videos you've heard me say, fragmented versus integrated. So this is the model. This is a fragmented person. This is an integrated person. Your cortical area, literally in your brain, is designed this way. It's enveloping the midbrain, which constitutes the amygdala, the thalamus, and the hippocampus. The amygdala is the interpreter. It takes data in from everything coming at you, and it makes a decision if you're at risk, if your life is in danger. It's the fight, flight, freeze, faint decision maker. It gets its intel from the thalamus, which is the all-seeing eye over Mordor, right? It just looks out for the next 10 minutes. What's going on in my space? Is there risk of my life being taken? Is there a saber-toothed tiger here that's going to eat me? The hippocampus, the third of the 3, is the external hard drive. And I recognize if you're a neuroscientist, I'm really simplifying this. So keep in mind, we're doing this for practical purposes, for application. So the amygdala is the interpreter. The thalamus is the all-seeing eye. It's going to give you data. And then the hippocampus is going to be your external hard drive. So a quick story to help illustrate what's going on. When everything's going well, this is how we are. We're integrated. The amygdala, or the midbrain, and the body brains are in harmony with the upstairs brains. Everybody's working as one. So the story is told about 1952, husband, wife, 2-year-old daughter getting potty trained. So Saturday, they're doing cleaning. Husband's out in the garage cleaning up stuff. The wife, the mother, is vacuuming. She comes by the hall closet. There is a horrific smell coming out of the closet. So let's take it apart. Unzipping it, because right now she's this way. She's home, loving husband, wonderful daughter, life is good. The amygdala gets the message from the thalamus that there's a smell coming from the closet. The amygdala tries to make a decision but doesn't have enough intel. Goes to the hippocampus, the external hard drive, and says, what do we know about that smell? Hippocampus says, we don't know enough. Let's investigate. So she walks over to the closet and opens the closet door. And she gets hit with the most horrific, worst aroma she's ever smelled. The thalamus says, terrible smell coming at you. Hippocampus says, oh, I know exactly what's going on. I know what's happening. And amygdala needs to respond now. It went to a quick, faint freeze mode. She had a mental breakdown. In those days, they didn't have 911, so they called the police and the fire department. They come and get her, take her to the hospital, and she gets medicated. The psychiatrist comes and visits with her as she's coming out of it and finds the following information out. When she opened the door, there was a stinky diaper that had been sitting in there for about 3 to 4 days. What does a diaper smell like after 3 or 4 days hidden, tucked away in a closet? You can use your imagination. But in and of itself, you're thinking, but wait a minute, she's at home. She knows her daughter's going through this stage in her life and her husband's in the garage. What really did happen? That's the rest of the story. When the hippocampus got the whiff, it determined that she was back in 1944 and 1945 at the front lines in Germany where she was an RN in a MASH unit. And her job was to get the dead and the almost dead from the foxholes and from near the front Back to triage. Well, what does a body smell like if it's been rotting in a foxhole for 3 days, or it's been injured and bleeding and can't get away for 48 hours? A very similar smell. So the hippocampus simply determined at that moment that she was at danger because there were machine gun fire, mortars, etc., snipers. Now we call that post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. That's exactly what just happened to her. But you realize that she was this way before it happened. The amygdala decided it was going to hijack the entire system and say, you're in danger right now, move. In the next video, you're going to find out why. Because the upstairs brain's only 10% of who you are. All the power, which is non-judgmental, all the power is the subconscious. The amygdala decided unilaterally that they were in danger. So that's kind of how it works. Our goal is to be this way. Think of the rules of engagement again. If you're creating safe space for another human being so they can be their real selves, that's wonderful, and they're more likely, and the law of reciprocity dictates such, to be like this. But if they have a history where they've constantly been criticized, judged, that they're always being told what to do, manipulated, bullied, and you do anything similar, subconsciously, they're going to go into a fight, flight, freeze, or faint, and you will have no idea why. Even though you weren't the direct cause, you were a participant in it because you did not give them safe space. That's kind of how the rules of engagement now intertwine with how the brain works. So again, this is an integrated position. This is your fight, flight, freeze, or faint, and we'll continue this video shortly. We'll see you in the next one.